Oh, hi.
Thank you so much for saying yes. Do you remember when I met you at that launch event for like the Win Japan?
Yeah. Was last year,
Yeah,
October.
yeah. Can
Yeah.
you believe it's been a year?
Yeah, it's time flies.
It really does, doesn't it?
Really, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. You came to the party.
I did. Actually, on that day, I was kind of like, I know no one at that place. I'm a little bit nervous, but I'm gonna go.
How did you know the party is going to
Um,
happen?
Instagram.
Instagram
Instagram.
of the like the wind,
No, actually,
the nose plate maybe.
the North Face.
Okay.
But I got there and I met you, and of course I know Tomo from before, and I also met Drew. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, thank you for coming to the party last year.
No problem.
Enjoyed very much.
Yeah.
Seeing many people from many parts of the Tokyo
Mm-hmm.
and also across Japan.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So trail runners, road running crews, etc. So it was a mixture of the people.
Yeah.
So really fantastic day with the Win global team
Mm-hmm.
from London and Switzerland.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Before we start, who is Kiyo? Kiyo, everyone says this is the hardest question.
Yeah.
Like, who are you? Like, how do you explain? But let's see what you give us.
Yeah, my name is Kiyo Fujishiro. I'm from Kyoto.
Mm-hmm.
I'm an editor and publisher of the Mokusei Publishers in Japan.
Mm-hmm.
I'm making books and magazines.
Yeah.
Also, I'm running a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, editor and runner.
Okay, but we also want to know a little bit about Kiyo personally.
Personally.
Yes.
Yeah, so I'm not kind of marathon runner like this.
Yeah.
I'm very running
Mm-hmm.
slowly. So I like to run the long distance.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like I'm traveling the world.
Yes.
So I run 100-mile trail running,
Mm-hmm.
at least one or two
Mm-hmm.
per year
Mm-hmm.
as a race.
Yeah.
But other than racing, I run everywhere in Kyoto, Hakone, or Takao, Tokyo.
Yeah.
So I like to meet
Mm-hmm.
new people,
Mm-hmm.
new things.
Yeah.
So yeah, that may be a reason for me to run such a long distance
Yeah.
every week.
Yeah. You see so much along the way.
Yeah.
I found out somehow that you're an Arsenal supporter. Is this true?
Yes. How did you know that?
I have to do my research.
Wow, incredible.
Yeah.
Incredible. Yes,
So-
yes, I'm a Arsenal supporter.
Mm-mm-mm.
Yeah, since 2020, 2002 season maybe.
Mm-hmm,
Yeah.
mm-hmm.
It's over 20 years Arsenal.
Who's your favorite player?
Thierry Henry.
Ah,
Yeah.
Henri. Okay. So I grew up my dad used to play soccer
Okay.
because I was born in Zimbabwe. So my dad used to play soccer when he was young.
Yeah.
And so I grew up in a family that watched soccer all the time. Now my dad is a Manchester United supporter.
Okay.
I'm a Man U supporter.
Yeah.
My brother is an Arsenal supporter.
Oh, yeah.
So he
Okay.
was always that guy,
Yeah.
like on a Sunday when we're watching a match.
Yeah, on TV.
Yes, he's like the opposing.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it was like a kind of fighting
Mm-mm-mm.
every week Sunday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I stopped watching soccer when Alex Ferguson retired
Okay, yeah.
because my team started losing and I get very sad.
Yeah, Alex Ferguson, was a great
Yeah.
coach
Yeah.
of the time. So,
Yeah, he really was. Yeah.
and Arsene Wenger.
Yes, of course. Yeah, absolutely. The Gunners. Okay. So let's talk about running, Kiyo. How did you actually start running? What's your running story?
Yeah, so I started running about 10 years ago. One of my friends took me to trail in Kamakura. So I've never run actually, but since my friend is a serious runner, he took me to trail running in Kamakura, and was like I used to be a kind of how to say, drinking and partying guy.
Yeah.
And so I've never run, but it was a kind of totally new experience for me. So I used to play football, soccer, but I quit due to injury.
Yeah.
Around 20 years old, I switched my focus to editing and working hard and drinking at night and then partying weekend. But sometimes it's not so ideal for the physical and mental health. 2010, there was a Lehman shock and earthquake in Tohoku, and kind of devastating experience for all of us, including myself, of course. And I didn't have anything to do, or I don't have any idea what to do.
Yeah.
So and at that time, one of my friends took me to the trail running, and then it was a kind of new experience. So it was a kind of new door to the new phase of my life. So since then, I started running, and then meeting many people and many elements of life, including not only physically, mentally, but also kind of in terms of relationship with people and society. So that running was kind of very much key for me.
I think for me, what I find fascinating, and you probably have seen this too, is that running is not as simple as just running. Like, it affects all the different parts of our life. Yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna go straight to Like the Wind, Japan, and then I'll come back to running a little bit. But obviously, you guys globally and in Japan produce this beautiful magazine. I mean, if the audience doesn't know, the texture is pretty amazing. The artwork is amazing. The pictures are amazing. And the stories are inspiring. What inspired you, Kiyo, to have the idea that I'd like to bring this magazine into Japan?
Yeah, so Julie and Simon started the magazine 10 years ago, and they are continuing to make this beautiful, global English edition. And I know Like the Wind for like 4 or 5 years, and then this is a magazine about story, not kind of competition always. So stories can be from any parts of the world. So it was simply was amazing, because sometimes in Japan there has been kind of really sporting, athletic magazines out there. It was okay, but in terms of diversity of the voices, then we need a story telling magazine. So I approached to Julie and Simon, and then we discussed many things to launch the Japanese edition, and then we are working together now. So it was amazing experience to publish the story in Japanese. So the interesting thing is, Japanese edition is not just a translation of the English version as is. We are making a Japanese original story, and then Julie and Simon is kind of translating the Japanese story to the English, so that they can distribute the story across the globe. So it was kind of communication between the magazine and between the audience, with the different languages. So although language is sometimes is a barrier for us to communicate to learn each other, but the story is, kind of a bridge. So it was a amazing thing for us.
Yeah. Wow. I actually didn't know that the Japanese stories also get told in the international version.
Yeah. So little by little, actually. So 1 or 2 stories per magazine, per Japanese edition. Not all at the moment. We are taking time, but actually it's an exchange of the stories and narratives between the English edition and Japanese edition, and the Japanese audience and the global audience. So it's a kind of dynamic story, dynamic collection of the story across the globe. So that is really, really exciting approach. Yeah.
So as an outsider who came to Japan 2.5 years ago or whatever, one of the things I discovered is that there are so many Japanese stories to be told, especially about runners. But the world has no idea how diverse and amazing the Japanese running world is. So it's good to hear the stories being told. So since you started the magazine here, and obviously in terms of now we have a Japanese version telling Japanese stories, what has been the one story as an editor of this magazine on this side of the world, what has been the one story that has stood out to you that you've been like, wow, okay?
Yeah, actually, there's a lot of fantastic story from Japan, from the running community, including trail running and road running, or even outside running world. So if I pick one, there is a story called Voices from Tokyo by Kei Kuwabara. He's running a running shop in Tokyo called Run Boys Run Girls, and he's making a very, very essential story with the very easy wording so that every audience can understand. Sometimes literature magazine or kind of thing, quality magazine tend to use a different difficult language because terms are very difficult, but Kei is always using the very, very basic and easy, simple Japanese language, is describing the very essential part of the running. So it was a very, very impressive story. And it is also translated to the Japanese English edition as well. So the world can hear his voice actually from Tokyo.
Okay. So if you had to, obviously you've run all over the place and you've run here in Japan as well. From your running experiences, story writing from all over the world, what's sort of different between the Japanese running culture and the rest of the world? Do you see something?
Yeah, sometimes Japanese has a unique running style, like a ekiden relay thing. So it's quite amazing and unique style of running. But sometimes for like over 40 years, it tends to be a very, very, very competitive aspect of running is emphasized sometime, or in many cases. And that was not a bad thing. Top athlete can inspire people, so it was a really, really great thing. But let's say 80% is not an athlete, kind of normal people. So there should be more aspect of running other than athleticism or competition or racing. Outside Japan, there would be more stories or aspect of the running other than racing. For example, let's have a party after running, or let's listen to the music, reading, and meeting people, relaxing. So that type of style of running can be much more visible in Japan, or should be visible in Japan as well. Sometimes said that this is because Japanese kind of mindset, culture type of thing, but
Do you think it's slowly changing? I can see some vibes of it coming out in the Tokyo.
Yes, I believe
cruise.
so. I believe so. Yeah, especially friends in Tokyo or some areas of Japan running really freely, relaxing the moment and enjoying the moment. So it was a quite amazing thing. And they are actually communicating with running community in Korea, Taiwan, or UK, or New York. So it seems like there would be no border. So one community, one communication under running, probably.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it was an amazing thing.
Okay, so nice segue into Taiwan. So you were in Taiwan over the weekend. I've never been to Taiwan. What is Taiwan like?
Yeah, Taiwan. Yeah, actually, is a good place, amazing place in terms of culture, running, people. So how to say? It's an interesting place to visit. It's just 3-4 hours flight from Tokyo. 1 hour difference, and it's a part of East Asia, very east. And yeah, actually there is a long history about Taiwan, or the about relationship between Taiwan and Japan.
Yes.
In South in East Asia, because it's a small. Not small actually, but a small island, and there is a China, there is a Korea, and there is a Japan, and Taiwan is actually in between in many meanings, geographically, politically, culturally. So although it is a small country, they are creative people in terms of technology, running style, how to survive, how to connect with the world. So they are really creative in many meanings. So yeah, I visited Taiwan for Formosa trail race. Was amazing community-based race, and many Taiwanese, Japanese, or Europeans are coming to Formosa to run and enjoy the community. It was a kind of mixture of the people and mixture of the runners, regardless of the nationality or those type of things. They just run and enjoying barbecue after the party, after the racing, and then having beer and communicating. So it was kind of really community based race experience, enabled by a man from the Czech, and then woman from the really regional Taiwanese community. So it was a really kind of crafted, handmade racing experience. So that is actually not enabled by for example, how to say, government or big company or big investment from outside. It's a community based experience that is so interesting. Yeah, and it's actually the biggest race in Taiwan throughout the year. So really interesting. Yeah, and there is also apart from running, there was also Taipei Art Book Fair, where many creators are gathering and showing the works. So really creative, not only about running but also creating something. So it was an interesting place.
I'm guessing a combination of two loves: running, books,
Yeah. And also it was a mixture of the language actually. So Taiwanese, Chinese, English, Japanese are all mixed in one conversation.
Yes.
It was really, really, interesting experience in terms of, languages and style of communication. So
I do get a little bit nervous when I think of traveling because I'm like, I can't speak Mandarin or Taiwanese. So you can speak English, Japanese, and
that's basically it. So I don't speak Mandarin or exact Chinese languages, but at least we can somehow recognize the kanji characters, sometimes using the same type of kanji. So we can communicate. Even if we don't communicate verbally, we can write down. So the communication is not about just speaking, but also reading and writing and behaviors or something. So it was a great experience. Yeah, I want to learn Spanish.
Good luck. Language learning is not easy. Okay, so Kiyo, let's talk about your running. I know I feel like I'm going back and forth, but let's talk about your running as well, because you just did CCC at UTMB?
TDS. UTMB, yeah.
And so let's touch on that. How was that for you? Because that's the mecca of running. Like,
yeah, it was a big race week of the year. So I participated in TDS last year and then this year, so twice.
Yeah.
So last year it was minus 10 degrees type of really, really tough, cold, snowing, storming running. I had to carry 3 rain jackets at once.
Wow.
During the night. Because it was so storming, but somehow I survived, taking over 37 or 8 hours. Was really tough, but interesting. And this year it was totally different. It was too hot.
Yeah.
So again, it took me to finish over 37 hours or something, but it's totally different race, although it was the same course layout.
Yeah.
So yeah, long distance trail running is again not a kind of simple sport, but we can experience many aspects of the weather or body situation, mental health situation, people. So it's all different always. So was amazing experience, TDS. So I wanted to participate in CCC or UTMB type of thing, but it's always lottery. So the only race if I visit Chamonix is TDS because there's no lottery. So just apply and run.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Next year, I'm not sure. There could be lottery. But yeah, that's why so I had to run TDS.
You didn't have a choice.
I don't like to tough race. But was only choice for me.
Yeah. So Kiyo, I'm gonna get technical here. For TDS, you say it was raining, and you had 3 rain jackets. So in a situation like that, what does your gear setup look like? If we're gonna get a little bit technical.
Yeah, there is a drop back station at the middle point of the race. So I always prepare the backup of everything, t-shirts, cap, and even backpack, shorts type of thing. And since there was a bad weather kit a lot before the race, I actually bought 1 more rain jacket in Chamonix. So I had already 2 rain jackets, but since there was a bad weather, a lot information from the race organizer, then I had to buy 1 more just in case. But I actually used all of them.
All of them.
Yeah. So yeah, so I always have backup of everything basically.
Okay. And
Yeah, food as well.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
What type of stuff do you take along the way?
Food or
Yes.
food, rice puree type of thing.
Oh.
So it was sweet
Yeah.
and tastes like a miso flavor.
Really?
Yeah.
I've never had that.
Yeah.
Uh-uh.
My recommendation.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a €1 thing in Japan. So yeah, 100K calories, one food per
Mm-mm.
hour. So
Per hour.
yeah.
Okay. Because one of the things I did struggle with coming from South Africa, I had my stuff that I used to take every 15 minutes.
Oh yeah.
Like a certain bar, I would just buy it every 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And then when I came to Japan, obviously I ran with the Tokyo trail running. There's a running group in Tokyo. And I asked them, what does everyone use here? And they were like, no one uses anything. So I'm still trying to figure out, like, what do people actually take on their long runs? I usually just have onigiri.
Okay.
Yeah.
If it's 1 hour, 2 hours running, maybe you don't anything to have in terms of nutrition.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, but if it's going to be 3 hours, 4 hours, then we'd better have a onigiri or something.
Okay, I'll ask you about that recommendation. Okay, so let's talk about Mount Fuji.
Mount
The
Fuji, yeah.
reason why I'll ask you about Mount Fuji is everyone knows I'm notorious for DNFing my 100-miler, which I still have to get over. So you also had a DNF. Let's talk about that for you. Are you the type of guy who's like, yeah, I did my best, it happened, whatever? Or do you kind of struggle with it a little bit?
Yeah, so this year, Mount Fuji 100, I DNF'd due to the stomach problem. I couldn't eat anything after 100K. So I quit at around 140K point. And I had a miso soup. Actually, there was a doctor and he gave me a miso soup and then I had it and, recovered. So I think I should not have DNF'd, but at the moment was, kind of tough for me. So I just, quit. It always happening. So 2 years ago in 2022, I completed 100 mile at Mount Fuji. Was a great experience. I didn't have any stomach problem or muscle problem or anything. Mentally, I was totally fine. So I could finish. So this year, so mentally was okay. Physically okay, basically, but very, very small stomach problem stopped me. So it was kind of total experience or total condition management is required. Yeah, that is what I learned again.
Yeah. Are you the type of guy who's just like quits, I've had enough, I'm out of here, and changes your mind immediately?
Yeah, so if I run 10 long races, then I tend to quit 2, 3, maybe. So 60-70% is success, I believe, for me.
Yeah.
Always. So, kind of, it's not always, 100% success to me, but it's okay. So it will always happening, not only about running, but also, editing or, communicating with people. There is a, failure and success always. So 60%, 70% could be, totally fine for me.
I love that you have a percentage for it. So for me, if I go running and at some point I feel like, actually, I just don't feel like it, I will quit in the middle and go home, especially if I'm running on the road.
There's always, some type of, learning, even if it's a success or even if it's a failure.
Yeah.
So, I'm not, 100 or 120% person. So it's okay.
That's okay. That's okay.
Maybe 80% failure.
I wouldn't use the word failure. I mean, if you decide you've had enough, I feel like, sometimes because I teach English, right? And we always ask the kids, how are you, right? And because kids want to make everyone happy, they will always say, I'm happy. And when a child says, I'm angry or like, I'm like, that's fine because we can't all be 100% all the time.
Yeah. So there's always, up and downs. So stay neutral. Trying to stay neutral.
Kiyo, I hear British accent coming in there.
Really? Because I'm talking with Simon.
No way. For real. Really?
Not sure. Yeah, my grandfather, by the way,
yes,
went to Chicago 70 years ago, I believe, just after World War II.
Yeah.
So he speaks English, American English.
Yes.
I'm not. I'm not.
Yeah, no, but I definitely hear a British accent coming through. So, what's in store for Like the Wind Japan for 2025? What can we look forward to? What big plans do you have?
Yeah, the two things. Number one is we focus on creating stories from the people. It is very important. So story never ends. From many parts of the Japan and the world. So I'm trying to, capture the story from everyone and then, make the story for the runners, by the runners. That's one. And then I like to expand the voices to everywhere, not only on magazines, but also at the talk sessions, podcasts, even, visual storytelling events or racing festivals. So that's my second goal for next year. We are, already doing it, but, more aggressively. Yeah.
Did you see that Love Trails Festival in the UK that they did?
Yeah. So,
it'd be nice to have something like that here.
Yes. My dream is to have that type of, festival in Japan as well. So it's great if we could, have Simon and Julie and running community from overseas, and then also from every part of Japan, somewhere in Tokyo or Kyoto or in Taiwan maybe.
Yeah.
So that we can communicate and know each other. Yeah,
that would be nice. Yeah, that's a good idea. So funny story, I have a book club that I go to, and our book of the month was Murakami's What I Think About When I Think About Running. It was my recommendation because they ask us to give recommendations. So I was so excited. I'm like, I listened to it on my run that day. I went to book club. I wanted to talk about this book. And everyone, 90% of the people were like, he's so selfish. He doesn't talk about his wife. Why is he so obsessed with running? I was so sad.
I see.
Because they're not runners. Like they didn't understand it. But enough about me. Kiyo, fun questions. What's your favorite book? We can talk about books all the way till the end. I will accept that. Yeah.
Yeah, book.
Yes.
Any book?
Any book.
Novels or Japanese writer or
Any book, and you have to give us three since you're in the industry. Please.
Yeah, so Rickey Gates Cross Country in the English title.
Trans-American, yes.
In Japanese, it's America o Meguru Tabi. We published the book last year, and then we invited Rickey Gates to Japan, Kyoto and Tokyo, and we did the talk session and running session and had beer with the community. So book itself is great, but additionally we did many type of things triggered by book. So it was a total experience. That is a great experience to discover together with Rickey Gates and the community. And the book is about America actually. So kind of yeah, he says kind of it's a divided America, but he would like to see the America now. So he traveled by on foot from the east to the west, taking 6 months, and then there are many kinds of people speaking many kinds of American English, and they sometimes have different policy, different view about the country and the politics, economics, culture. So actually Rickey Gates was trying to discover the America and also himself as a person living in our time in America. So it was a really, really great book. So I was so happy to publish his book. Yeah, so I recommend.
I know that book very well because I have watched Trans-Americana on YouTube. So when I saw it, I was living in South Africa and I wanted a copy, but they don't sell it in South Africa. I would have to import it from America. It's a good coffee table type of book to have.
Yeah.
And
nice visuals. That's my favorite. And then I like novels, many kinds of Japanese writers, and some type of overseas ones, classics, modern. So I read a lot. But if I pick one other than that, we also published a book about football culture by Eduardo Galeano from Uruguay. He's a famous journalist as well as he's a sports writer, and he had so different view from us, of course, from Japanese perspective as well as the modern English speaking culture. So he has own view as a Latin American culture or the people. So yeah, it was really, really great book. By the way, that's one of the reason I wanted to study Spanish so that I can communicate with that very, very different world other than Japanese languages, English languages type of thing. So there are 5,000 or 6,000 languages across the world. So should be totally different culture and mindset and running style maybe. So language is always my interest. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's 2 books.
Yeah, 2 books. So if I pick one more, could be Haruki Murakami about running. Was a masterpiece.
Yes.
Actually, I think it the most selling running book from Japan, I believe. So that's been translated to English as well as many languages. And Like the Wind global English edition is sometimes quoting the lines from Haruki Murakami's book. So should be famous. And it's really easy to understand the story because he's using the very, simple words like Hemingway.
Yes,
So
yes.
it's not Dostoevsky
Yes.
type of thing. It's a really, really crisp and simple wording and storytelling. So
Yeah.
that one, I think that one of the reason people are reading actually
Yeah.
across the globe. So yeah.
Yeah. And then next thing is TV series, YouTube, or movie recommendation.
TV movie, yeah. I like documentary in terms of videos or films.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that actually the reason I come to know Rickey Gates' book is the video actually first.
Yeah.
They put the video on YouTube,
Mhm.
and then it's a kind of travel offbeat, very American type of video, but I loved it. So documentary is always a kind of about reality. Of course, it's a mixture of the reality of the people, and of course there is a intention of the director.
Yeah.
So it's not pure reality,
Mhm.
but it looks like reality. So yeah, I love documentary always. So yeah, I'm on YouTube.
So are we taking Transamericana as your recommendation, or?
Yeah. My recommendation is Transamericana. I'm not sure if it's still available on YouTube, but it's good. And if I pick not one more, then it could be a Barkley marathon documentary. It used to be on Netflix, and we can hear the voice of the lads. Really, nice film. So film itself is great piece, but actually was because of lads speaking.
Yes.
So character of lads is amazing. So yeah, I love it.
Yeah. That's a good one. Is it the one, The Race That Eats Its Young?
Oh yeah, yeah. And in terms of, apart from running, in terms of film, Spotlight, a film about the journalism in the US was also great, because I'm a publisher and I'm very much interested in those type of journalistic movie films. Spotlight is maybe 10 years ago. It was amazing film.
Okay.
About Boston Globe, I think.
Okay, that's a good recommendation. I actually watched the journalism movie. When was it? I think like a month ago. But it's the one to do with the Me Too movement. I don't know if you watched it. It's about these women trying to break the story, and yeah, that was.
Yeah, I've never seen it, but it's a famous film. Yeah. So yeah, that was very important movement. Yeah, Me Too movement and Black Lives Matter, or many kinds of movement are happening at the same time, maybe, but should be, of course. So very important.
Before I get to the right at the end, have you considered ever writing your own, publishing your own work, Kiyo's work? I know you have your magazine.
My work.
Yes.
Meaning that writing some documentary by myself.
Yes.
Never thought about that, because I'm kind of not a genius, or I don't have a talent in terms of writing very much. So I'm acting as a kind of producer type of thing, as an editor, because there is there are many kinds of beautiful things, beautiful people around me. So I tend to think that I somehow like to produce those beautiful things, beautiful people, rather than I myself is writing. I like writing, of course, but yeah, at the moment I'm supporting people, friends somehow.
Okay.
So yeah, hopefully someday, when I have many ideas to write about, then I could.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So rather, I love translation actually, rather than creatively writing. I'm always translating. So it's a kind of bridge between the languages and cultures. So yeah, I actually like translating the articles from English or from Japanese to English. So yeah, it's always fun.
So in my mind, I have an idea of a book that I would like to give to you. So I have to get the book first and then I would give to you. Have you read anything from Southern Africa that is written by an African author?
Yes, please. Yes,
Yes.
please. So yeah, some famous writers from South Africa. Yeah, I do have Japanese translated novels or that type of thing, but the numbers of Japanese translation is very limited, I believe, in Japan. Partially because of the lack of translators of the languages. So yeah, but I love to have more stories from Africa, of course.
I'll pass it on to you because
Yes.
in my mind, when I picture Africa, I picture vibrant colors, loud noises, a lot of, it's just popping. Yeah.
Africa, yes.
Yes. Kiyo, you also have a podcast, so tell us about your podcast.
Podcast, yes. I have two podcast programs. One is called Thursday. This is published from the Mokusei Publishers, my company, and the other one is Like the Wind Japan podcast. So I always inviting guests, and Thursday is focusing on the more like it's about running, but more like culture and non-running things, including art, photographies, illustrations, and novels type of thing. And while the Like the Wind Japan podcast is focusing on running. So for Like the Wind, I'm inviting runners, not only athlete, but also runners. And then Thursday, we are inviting many type of people. So so those two are kind of well balanced contents, I believe. So the audience is kind of different.
Yeah.
But sometimes
they intersect.
Yes. Yeah. Again, yeah, I realized that I'm kind of bridging the runners and other people through podcast. I'm very much interested in long form podcast recently, not just 3-5 minutes or 10 minutes. So there is many kinds of long form podcasts overseas that is really interesting. We have to actually talk for over 2 hours, 3 hours, meaning that we should have an clear idea.
Yeah.
Sometimes, or even if we don't have clear idea, we could find some new idea through the conversation interaction. So that should be very interesting. So I'm very much interested in the more longer ones.
Yeah.
As a kind of news podcast, it's very much straight, short, clear ideas, messages. But sometimes we don't have solutions or answers about the the things we are experiencing. So that for those situations, I think I believe it's very important to have the conversation. Trying to find the new clue about the new things. So the long form podcast is very interesting.
Yeah.
So magazines, books, we really focusing on the story from the beginning to the end. It's a very solid type of creative, but conversation it's kind of
it's ongoing.
Was always flying around.
Yeah.
Sometimes silence. Sometimes it's about the fluent thing. So it's okay.
So when you guys are doing in my mind, when I imagine publishing a magazine, right, and this is because I watch too many movies, I imagine that you're under pressure, you don't sleep for days, you're like, is it like that?
Yeah, I try to not to be, but at the end of the day, it's all about deadlines, proofreading, scheduling, printing. So yeah, I always struggling with those type of things. So yeah, my dream is to be more, really, really simple process.
Yeah.
We are managing somehow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm.
So I will include the links to Kiyo's podcast, the magazine,
Okay.
and
Yeah.
the website in the show notes. And then the last question before we wrap it up. I have so many things to ask you, Kiyo, and talk about, but our time is limited. What is the craziest thing that you as a runner have done or have seen other runners do?
Recently, there was a FTR 100 race in Saitama,
Yes.
and I DNF at the 85k points due to the cutoff time. It was really, really short cutoff and tough race. It's like total elevation is like a UTMB things.
Yeah.
So really, really tough race, and course is really, really interesting loops.
Yes, I was going to say that the one with loops.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
And part of the course was kind of 2 loops, and when I running fighting for the cutoff,
Yes.
Tomoihara came behind me. So he was a second loop. I was a first loop. He's kind of very, very fast, top runner, and he won the race. So it's not about me, but Tomokazu Hara, he looks like really, really crazy. He won the race. He is doing 100 miles 100 times, and really, really amazing person. But he to him, it's really, really, it looks like it really, really normal thing, normal running for him, because he practice a lot. He manages himself very well in terms of physically, mentally. So it looks like he's doing his normal thing, his own thing. So yeah, amazing to see.
It was, yeah.
Yeah.
That's the thing with loop and back, right? Every time you do a loop and back, the fast guys are like,
really, really, yeah. He was like he's dancing on the trail, really funky, really funky. It was uphill, and he walks and he runs, he jumps. It was kind of trail dancer. That was the amazing to see. Yes, really, really, really unique.
That is pretty cool. Yeah. Kiyo, this is us.
Okay.
I'm not gonna lie, I have so many questions. I want to talk more about Transamericana. I want to discuss all those issues, but we do not have time. Thank you so much for taking the time to come out. Thank you for doing the work you are doing in the running industry. I have to say it's important for Japanese voices to be heard. It's important for any voice to be heard.
Yeah.
And I think it's interesting to see the infiltration of running culture being spread around the world, from Kenya to America to England to Japan to Africa. And hopefully we can have one global running world. And stories are important, because that is how we share who we are. That's how we pass on traditions. So that is very important. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
No worries.
See you soon.
Thank you, Kiyo.
Thank you very much.